I would say that was about as good of a football week as you could ask for as a Denver Broncos fan. The Denver Broncos got multiple positive outcomes that are really going to help them moving forward. I understand that the Broncos played some really sloppy football tonight, but they played winning football. They got the job done. They found a way to win this game when their back was against the wall. Did it take a batted 2-point conversion by Nick Bonito to get it done? Yes. Are there going to be frustrations that we need to talk about from this game, especially the run game on both sides of the ball? Yes. We talked about a lot of those frustrations in the post-game show, and we're going to talk about them even more in a separate video. But this video, I want to be more positive, because let's just think about it this way. The Denver Broncos are 10-2, folks. They've already matched their win total from last season. They've got their best record right now since Super Bowl 50. This team is good, Broncos country. They find a way to win these ugly games. And I hear people saying that they're not going to be able to win these ugly games in the playoffs. I'd actually argue it's the other way around. You need to be able to win these ugly games in the playoffs. And teams that are more experienced doing so usually have a better shake at things in the playoffs. I feel like the teams that boat race their opponent week in and week out in the regular season have struggled once they get to the playoffs. The Detroit Lions last year were a perfect example where every single week in the regular season, it felt like they were boat racing their opponents. But once the playoffs came, they went one and done and fell to, ironically enough, these same Washington Commanders. The fact that the Broncos are battle-tested against not only this team, but good teams like the Eagles. Call the Chiefs a good team if you want. You've got the Cowboys, the Texans. That Texans win might be the Broncos' best win on the season. The fact that they got the job done in that game is really going to help them moving forward. But let's go ahead and look at the ESPN playoff machine here, because the Broncos not only took care of their own business this week, but they also got quite a bit of help. First of all, on Thanksgiving, the Kansas City Chiefs lost to the Dallas Cowboys. Kansas City is now 6-6, and they are buried multiple games back for even the wild card spot in the AFC. They're not even a guarantee to get the 7th seed right now. Additionally, Denver got even more help. Indianapolis lost their game to the Houston Texans. They're now 2 games behind the Denver Broncos in the AFC. This was one of our top challengers, the Indianapolis Colts, for that number 1 seed. And remember, they hold a head-to-head tiebreaker over the Denver Broncos because they beat Denver in week 2. Not only did Indianapolis lose, but the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Tennessee Titans, no surprise there. As a result of this, the Indianapolis Colts have now slipped to 2nd place in the AFC South, and they've slipped to the 6th seed overall in the AFC. Denver currently... Oh, I need to change that. Sorry. That was from last week. Oh, crap. Okay, well, just go ahead and pretend that says 10-2 right now for the Denver Broncos. I've also got the New England Patriots right here, taking care of business tomorrow night like they should against the New York Giants. So just pretend that says 10-2 right there for Denver, and just pretend that says 10-2 for the Patriots right now. Once New England wins that game, like we assume they're going to, they're going to take over the number 1 seed, but next week the Patriots are on a bye week, so that's going to even up the games with Denver and New England. Right now, New England, after this game, will have played 1 more game than the Denver Broncos. I'm going to assume the Broncos take care of business against the Raiders. Yes, the Raiders played tough against them in the last game, but this one's not going to be on a short week. The Broncos are going to have a full week of preparation, and the Raiders somehow have gotten worse since the last time we played them. Their offensive line has gotten even worse. So I think the Broncos are going to take care of business right there. And that puts them with the number 1 seed, even with an even number of games with New England. Let's go ahead and look at this Colts and Jacksonville game, because this one's interesting. The Indianapolis Colts have not won a game in Jacksonville since 2014. It's an annual curse for them. this Jaguars curse always comes back to bite them. I remember in 2021, Indianapolis had a win-and-in scenario against the worst team in the NFL, the Jaguars. They had to go down to Jacksonville, win that game, and they were in the playoffs. That was the year that Jacksonville had the number 1 overall pick. That was the Urban Meyer year. Meyer had already been fired by that point. Indianapolis lost that game, and they were eliminated from playoff contention. So, if Indianapolis does get that win, Jacksonville will shift down to the 7th seed, and Indy will be the number 3 seed. But again, Denver will still be 2 games ahead of the Colts. Let's say that the Jaguars take care of business, though. Then they're going to improve to 9-4, and Indianapolis would be in dire straits, losing 3 games in a row, 4 games out of their most recent 5, and they'd be the 7th seed after week 14. Now we come over here to week 15. This Denver-Green Bay game is going to be a really tough matchup. It all depends on which version of both teams show up. Both teams have shown signs of inconsistencies this year. Denver's been able to overcome those inconsistencies and win the games. Green Bay hasn't always been able to do that. Since the game's in Denver, I am going to give the advantage to the Broncos here. We look at this Colts team. They've got a matchup with the Seattle Seahawks. That's going to be really, really tough going on the road to Seattle to get that win. They could drop another game, and that would put them out of playoff contention. Well, not out of contention, but out of the playoffs as of right now. Then we come over here and look at Jacksonville. I fully expect them to beat the New York Jets. Jets got a good win today against the Falcons, but not too impressive. It's the Falcons. Jacksonville's been a little bit inconsistent this year, but I fully expect them to get the job done against the New York Jets. So that's how things would shake out right there between Denver, Indianapolis, New England, and Jacksonville. Or did I get New England? No, I did not get New England. New England, they play Buffalo. So if they win this game, 12-2, Denver wins. It's the same thing here. Let's go ahead and say that Denver loses their game against Green Bay. Then we flip-flop here, and Denver goes to the number 2 seed, and New England has the number 1 seed. But again, I am confident in Denver to get the job done there. I also think the Buffalo Bills are going to go into New England and get a win. I don't necessarily think that the Buffalo Bills are going to lose 2 games this season to the Patriots. So I tentatively have Buffalo getting that win, which they're really going to need moving forward. Come over here now to week 16. After week 14, all the bye weeks will have been done. Jacksonville at Denver. Again, since the game is in Denver, I want to give the advantage to the Broncos here. They get the job done. That puts another loss on Jacksonville's record. We come over here. Patriots, they face off against the Baltimore Ravens. I almost want to give that game to the Ravens, but given how poorly they've been playing the last few weeks, I just cannot do it right now. So I am going to give the New England Patriots the win there. Denver, if they beat Jacksonville, they'll be ahead of the Patriots. And then for Colts here, man, they've got a really tough gauntlet schedule coming up. They've got the 49ers after this, and I got to be honest, I'm giving the 49ers the dub here. That puts Indy yet another game back. This Colts team might be in serious trouble moving forward. Let's go ahead and say that the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Broncos. Denver would still hold on to that number 1 seed. Now we come over here to week 17. Denver's going to play on Christmas, so they're going to play before any of these other teams do. So let's go ahead and give the Denver Broncos a win in Kansas City. We'll go through the scenario if they lose. Don't worry. Then we come over here. We've got Indianapolis and Jacksonville once again, man. So let's say Indianapolis gets revenge if they lose in Jacksonville. So we'll give them a dub right there. Jacksonville, they're still 11-5, and they're sitting at the 3 seed. Come over here to New England. I fully expect them to beat the New York Jets. Denver, still 13-3. Let's say they lose to Kansas City, though. They would be a game behind New England, and they would be at 12-4. And then we come over here, and week 18 would be really, really huge. let's go ahead and say the Denver Broncos take care of business against the Chargers, and say the Patriots take care of business here against Miami. Then Denver would be the number 2 seed. We really would need to get that win in Kansas City in order to comfortably secure that numbered 1 seed. Let's go ahead. Yeah, and even then, Denver would be a game back. So they would have to win outright here if they aren't able to take care of business against Jacksonville or Green Bay. You give them this win over Jacksonville here, give them a win right here, and let's just say give them a loss right here. That puts them at 15-2. Give them a win. I mean, I'm sorry, you give them a loss right here, that puts them at 14-3, and then you give them a win, that puts them at 15-2. So Denver would be in position to get the number 1 seed. That's how the playoffs are currently shaking out, and those are all of Denver's paths to the number 1 seed. It's pretty simple. If they take care of business moving forward, they should get the number 1 seed. But if they drop some of these games here, say to Green Bay, Jacksonville, Kansas City, or maybe the Chargers, then they might not be able to get the number 1 seed. It's looking like, barring an epic collapse, at worst, Denver's going to end up with a number 2 seed. Again, we can talk about all the shortcomings and frustrations in this game. We already have a little bit. We're going to make another video about it. But the fact is, the Broncos control their own destiny right now, and they've got a really, really strong chance to be the number 1 seed in the AFC. But they got to take care of business. Simple as that. All right, Broncos country, be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. I would really appreciate it. Those are both free and easy ways to show your support. It helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and it helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. Additionally, if you want to go above and beyond in supporting the channel, please consider becoming a channel member today. It's not mandatory, but if you want some extra perks and incentives in exchange for helping me out and helping the channel grow, the link is in the description below. Alright guys, and until next time, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.